Welcome to English Stories. Here, you'll improve your English by listening to real, clear stories, slowly told and easy to follow. The sun rests low over the hills. Its light shines through the fig trees in the back garden of a small house. A girl sits quietly under the branches, a notebook in her lap. She listens to the sound of birds, the far-off train, and the gentle hum of summer. Her pen moves slowly, as if each word carries a secret. If you feel inspired to keep learning, go ahead and like or subscribe. It's a small click, but it means we're learning together. Just relax, listen, and let the language come to you. Let's begin today's story. Lena is only 14 years old, but she writes like someone much older. Her words are careful, thoughtful, and honest. In the garden behind her family's home, she finds quiet places to write poems in secret. She doesn't share them with her teachers or even her friends. Only the garden and the trees know her words. Her family lives in a small town near the eastern mountains. Most days, life is simple. Her mother teaches music. Her younger brother plays football in the street. Her father used to teach history at the university, but he passed away when Lena was just 9. Since then, the house has become quieter, but the garden still feels alive. It's the only place where Lena feels truly safe. She writes about simple things at first: a flower opening in the morning, the cold air of winter, her brother's laugh. But slowly, her poems begin to change. She starts writing about things she doesn't understand yet, about silence in the streets, missing teachers, and strange new posters on school walls. One afternoon, she writes, "My words are soft like smoke, but smoke still rises. If no one speaks, can silence break the sky?" Her hand shakes as she writes the last line. She doesn't know why. It's just a poem, she tells herself, but something about it feels dangerous. The government has become stricter lately. At school, teachers are no longer allowed to talk about certain books. Some older students have stopped coming altogether. There are whispers about arrests, about people disappearing. Lena hears her mother speak in low tones on the phone. And once, in the market, a woman suddenly stopped talking when she saw a soldier nearby. But in the garden, Lena continues to write. The garden is her secret world. She hides her notebooks under a loose stone by the fig tree. At night, she lies in bed and repeats her lines quietly, like a song no one else is allowed to hear. One evening, as her mother plays piano inside, Lena returns to the garden. The sky is pink, the air warm. She sits cross-legged on the ground and reads one of her new poems. She reads it out loud, not loudly, but loud enough for her own ears. She doesn't know that someone is listening. Behind the wall, in the narrow alley that runs past their house, a man in a gray coat stops walking. He hears a young voice reading poetry. He listens for a moment, then walks away, quickly, almost without sound. Lena doesn't see him, but she will remember that evening later, many times. The next day, something strange happens. A girl in Lena's class, Mariam, doesn't show up. Their teacher looks tense. No one says anything. At lunch, another student tells Lena that Mariam's family was taken away in the night. No reason was given. Lena feels her stomach turn. Mariam was kind. She had a pet bird and loved painting. Why would anyone take her? That night, Lena doesn't write. She hides her poems deeper under the stone. She doesn't tell anyone, not even her mother. But the words continue to live inside her. They rise like smoke, and they refuse to be quiet.
Lena wakes up to the sound of the news playing on the old radio. Her mother always listens while she prepares breakfast, but this morning, the voice on the radio is lower, flatter. It speaks of new policies, of citizen safety, and of necessary actions. Lena doesn't understand everything, but she hears one word that makes her hands stop moving: control. At school, more changes come quickly. The library is closed until further notice. Posters with the leader's face hang in every classroom. One teacher is replaced by a new man who watches the students closely, never smiling. Lena notices how her classmates change too. The boy who always made jokes no longer laughs. The girl who once talked about books now looks down at her desk all day. Even Mariam's name is gone from the attendance list, as if she was never there. Lena feels afraid, but she also feels something else: anger. Quiet anger, slow like cold water. Why is everyone pretending nothing is happening? Why is no one allowed to speak the truth? That night, she writes again. Her fingers move faster than before. The words come sharp and clear. They took our colors and gave us gray, but even gray walls remember blue. You can hide the sun, but shadows still speak. She hides the poem carefully, folding it and placing it deep under the garden stone. Each night she adds more pages. Her poems are no longer just about birds or flowers. They're about silence, about fear, about the things people stop saying. One day, Lena sees her mother staring at a music book. The notes are blacked out in parts, crossed with red ink. They say this song isn't allowed anymore. Too many feelings, her mother says softly. Lena says nothing, but she feels the words build inside her, like rain filling a glass. She goes to the garden again. Soon, she starts writing poems during class. Small notes she hides into tiny shapes. She hides them in her pencil case or between the pages of textbooks. Sometimes she gives them to her only friend left, Rafi, a quiet boy who once gave her a sandwich after school. Rafi reads one of her poems and looks up at her with wide eyes. "You should be careful," he whispers. "I'm just writing. That's not a crime." But deep down, she isn't sure. One afternoon when she returns home, she notices something strange. One of her notebooks in the garden has been moved, just slightly. The stone that hides it looks like it was lifted, then placed back, not quite in the same way. She doesn't tell her mother. Instead, she moves the notebooks again, this time to a small crack in the wall of the storage shed. But the feeling stays with her. Someone has seen her words. The next week, a new rule is added at school. All students must write a daily sentence about how much they support the leader. Lena writes simple, empty lines. He brings peace. He protects us. But the truth burns inside her. Then one cloudy morning, she finds a letter in her school bag. It's written on thin paper. There is no name. The message is short. Your poems speak. Be careful who hears them. Some words bring light. Others bring attention. Do not stop, but be wise. Lena looks around quickly. Who could have written this? Rafi? A teacher? The person who moved the stone? Her heart pounds. The handwriting is unfamiliar, but something about it feels kind. She doesn't know whether to feel afraid or seen. She reads the letter again and again that night. Finally, she hides it with her poems. From that day, she becomes more careful. She uses symbols instead of names. She writes in layers, in images. Instead of fear, she writes about storms. Instead of soldiers, she writes about shadows. Her poems become puzzles, but still, they breathe truth. In class, Lena watches her teachers with new eyes. One older woman, Miss Anya, teaches literature. She never says much, but sometimes when she reads poems aloud, her voice changes, soft, steady, strong. Lena wonders if Miss Anya wrote the letter. She decides to leave a poem in one of the library books, hoping the right person will find it. It's one of her bravest poems yet. They built high walls, but forgot the sky. And when they covered the stars, we learned to shine from below. She doesn't sign it. She waits. 2 days later, another letter appears in her locker. Your poems speak. Be careful who hears them. Some words bring light. Others bring attention. Do not stop, but be wise. Lena reads the letter with shaking hands. The words are clear. Someone is helping her, but danger is also closer than ever. That night, she cannot sleep. Outside, she hears a car pass slowly. The garden feels different, like it's holding its breath. She knows one thing now. Her poems are no longer just poems.
The next morning, the air is heavy. A light rain falls over the town, soft but steady. Lena sits at the kitchen table, slowly stirring a cup of tea. Her mother hums a song under her breath, a quiet, familiar tune, the kind her father used to sing when the power went out. There's a knock at the door, not loud but firm. 3 short knocks. Her mother freezes. Her hand rests gently on the table, fingers still. Lena watches her closely. She stands to open the door, but her mother moves faster. "Stay here," she whispers. Through the crack in the hallway, Lena sees 2 men in dark coats. They show badges. They speak in low voices. Something about school, about student writings, about state safety. Her mother nods calmly, thanks them, and closes the door. Only then does her breath shake. That night, her mother sits on Lena's bed. She doesn't ask about poems. She only says, "There are times when even truth must wear a mask, but never throw it away. Keep it safe until the world is ready." Lena wants to tell her everything, about the poems, the letters, the feeling that someone is watching her words, but she stays quiet. Not from shame, only caution. The next day, Miss Anya doesn't come to school. Students whisper. The principal says she is on leave, but Rafi leans toward Lena and says she's gone, really gone. Rafi knows things. His uncle used to work at a local paper before it was shut down. Lena trusts him. Later that week, Rafi passes her a folded note. It's a map, small, hand-drawn. On the back are instructions. Thursday, before sunset, old train yard. No name, no signature, but Lena knows it's time. She studies the map again and again. That evening, she takes a chance. "Did you ever meet someone who used words to fight, Mama?" Her mother looks up. There's a long pause. Then, "Yes, once, a long time ago. He believed poems could open locked doors." "Did it work?" Lena asks. "Sometimes. And sometimes it brought trouble." Lena nods slowly. She doesn't say more. On Thursday, after school, Lena walks past the edge of town. The sky is gray, low with clouds. She keeps her notebook in her bag, pressed between school papers. She wears her plainest coat, no color, no attention. The old train yard is quiet, filled with rust and silence. She walks past an empty station and into the back lot, where broken train cars rest like forgotten animals. There, under a metal roof, stands a woman. She is older, with strong eyes and a scarf tied around her neck. She looks at Lena without surprise. "You made it," she says. Lena steps forward. "Are you the one who sent the letters?" The woman nods. "And I'm not the only one." She explains, "There's a network, small, careful, hidden. Writers, teachers, old thinkers, people who believe that truth, even in silence, matters. Miss Anya was part of it. So was your father." Lena's heart pounds. "My father?" "He helped hide stories," the woman says. "He believed one poem could live longer than a law." Lena holds back tears. "Your poems have reached more people than you know, but now you are in danger. They are watching your school, your house. You need to leave, tonight." Lena's hands shake. "Where will I go?" "There's a way, a path through the valley. You'll meet someone at the bridge after midnight. Bring only what you need and your words." Lena doesn't want to leave her mother, her brother, her garden. "Can my family come?" The woman shakes her head. "Your mother will be warned, but not now. If all of you disappear, they will follow. You are the risk. You must go alone." Lena nods slowly. That night, back home, she moves like a shadow. She packs a small bag, a coat, a sandwich, a notebook, and her father's watch. Before leaving, she leaves a short note under her mother's pillow. "I carry your song with me. Tell the garden I'll return." At midnight, she slips out the back door. The stars are hidden. The streets are empty. Only the sound of her footsteps and the wind. At the edge of the valley, a man waits by the bridge. He nods, silent. He leads her into the trees. They move quietly, fast, no lights, just the moon between the branches. For the first time in weeks, Lena feels something different. Not safety, not peace, but purpose. She does not know where the path will lead, but she knows one thing. Her words are no longer just hers. They belong to something bigger.
Lena walks for hours. The path is narrow and wet, filled with rocks and roots, but she doesn't slow down. The man who leads her says little. His coat is long, his boots silent on the forest floor. Once he offers her a sip of water. She thanks him quietly, holding the bottle with cold hands. The deeper they go into the hills, the more the world behind her feels like a dream. The school, the garden, her mother's songs, they are still inside her, but distant, as if wrapped in fog. When the first rays of morning light break through the trees, the man stops. He points to a barn hidden in the valley below. "Rest there," he says. "Someone will come before dark." Then he turns and disappears into the trees without another word. Inside the barn, Lena finds hay, a wool blanket, and a small lantern. There's also a basket with bread and dried fruit. She eats slowly, listening to the wind move through the wooden walls. She takes out her notebook. Her hands tremble, but the words come anyway. "I crossed the line, between known and new. Fear walked beside me, but hope came too." She reads it out loud, her voice low and steady. Each word reminds her she is not lost. She is moving forward. As she rests, she thinks of her mother. Did she find the note? Is she safe? Lena imagines her brother playing football in the street, unaware that her sister is crossing borders with only a notebook and a name. That evening, a truck arrives. An older woman steps out. She has sharp eyes and a warm smile. Her name is Ilsa. "You're brave," she says, as she helps Lena into the truck. But brave doesn't mean unafraid. It just means you keep going. Ilsa drives for hours through winding back roads.
They stop once at a river, where Lena is told to change into different clothes and hide her old notebook in a tin box buried beneath a pile of stones. "A new one will wait for you," Ilse says, "where you're going." When Lena hesitates, Ilse places a hand on her shoulder. The words stay inside. You'll write them again, better, stronger. They reach a house near the edge of another village. It is quiet, surrounded by trees. Inside, two other young people sit at a table, both around Lena's age. A boy named Thomas and a girl named Noor. They welcome Lena with soft voices and warm tea. "We all came from different places," Thomas says, "but the stories we carry are the same." Noor adds, "They tried to make us forget, but poems remember." That night, the three sit by the fire, sharing their stories. Thomas escaped through the mountains. Noor hid in a church basement for 2 weeks. Lena listens, then tells her story. Not everything, but enough. They sit in silence afterward. Not empty silence, but full. The kind that holds truth. Over the next weeks, Lena begins a new life. She helps care for the house, studies new languages, and writes. Always writes. Her new notebook is thinner, the pages rougher, but her words are bolder now. One day, Ilse brings news. "You'll leave soon. We've arranged a path to the next border." Lena feels both fear and peace. This place has become a small home, but she knows she must keep moving. Before she leaves, Noor gives her a folded page. "It's from a poem you left in the library," she says. "Miss Anya gave it to me before she disappeared." Lena opens the paper. The lines are hers, but in someone else's handwriting. "You can cover the stars, but not the sky. You can close your hand, but the wind still flies." She presses the paper to her chest. "I didn't think it would live this long." Thomas smiles. Truth lives in quiet places. The next day, Lena walks again, this time alone. She carries her new notebook, her father's watch, and the piece of paper. She moves through fields and forests, across rivers and checkpoints, never staying in one place too long. She sees other people fleeing too, families, children, elders. Some have stories, some only have silence, but all of them carry something that cannot be taken. Memory. At the final border, Lena waits in a hidden shelter. Outside, guards move with flashlights. She holds her breath as they pass. Then, just before sunrise, the door opens. A man steps inside. He has a kind face and a worn jacket. "This is the last step," he says. "After this, you are safe." Lena nods. As she walks through the final checkpoint, under a different name, with no papers but a poem in her pocket, she does not look back. She is tired, but she is whole.
The new land is colder. The sky feels wider. The streets quieter. Lena walks through her first days with careful steps. She watches everything. The way people speak. The way they smile without fear. She is not used to that. Her new home is a small apartment above a bakery. The smell of fresh bread wakes her each morning. The baker, a kind woman with short hair, lets her stay in exchange for helping wash dishes and clean tables. It is honest work, and Lena is grateful. At night, she writes. Her notebook grows fuller with each passing week. She writes in 2 languages now, her own and the new one she is learning. She writes about her journey,
about the garden, about the friends she met and the voices she carries with her. She writes to remember. One evening, the baker enters the room holding a newspaper. "They're collecting stories," she says, "from people like you." Lena takes the paper. There's an announcement from the community center. "Writers of memory, share your voice, help others understand." She hesitates at first. Her words have always been quiet, hidden. But the letter from Miss Anya, the line from Tomas, "Truth lives in quiet places," gives her courage. A week later, she stands before a small group in the center's reading room. Her hands shake as she opens her notebook. Then she breathes and begins. "I wrote beneath the fig tree, while the world forgot to bloom. But even silence has a season, and now I speak in full." The room is still. Eyes meet hers. No one moves. And then soft applause. Not loud, not wild, just enough. Enough to say, "We hear you." After the reading, a young girl approaches her. "Your poem," she says. "It felt like something I dreamed." Lena smiles gently. "Maybe you'll write your own dream one day." The girl nods. More people begin to ask about her poems. A teacher invites her to speak at a school. A small publisher offers to print her collection. Each new step surprises her, not because she didn't hope, but because she never imagined her quiet words would travel so far. She gives her book a simple name, Below the Fig Tree. In the front, she writes a note. "For those who write in silence, your words matter. Keep them safe until the world is ready." Years pass. Lena grows. She studies, teaches, and continues to write. Some days, she still dreams of the garden, of her mother's music, of Raffi's whispered warnings and Tomas's fire-lit stories. She does not know what became of all of them, but she carries them with her, in ink, in memory, in the lines she now helps others find. One spring, she receives a letter. The envelope is from home. Inside, a photo. Her mother, older but smiling, standing in the garden. On the back, a single line. "Your poem bloomed here." Lena cries softly. Then she picks up her pen and begins another page.
Final section. Learning recap. Today's story shared a powerful message. Even quiet voices can rise, survive, and change the world. Lena's poems helped her escape, but more than that, they helped her remember, heal, and speak for others. Sentence pattern. They tried to verb, but truth stayed. Use this pattern to talk about resistance or hope. Vocabulary box. Word. Meaning. Simple English. Whisper. To speak very quietly. Disappear. To go away and not be seen again. Secret. Something you don't tell others. Censor. To block or remove parts of speech or art. Tremble. To shake a little from fear or cold. Escape. To get away from danger. Network. A group of people connected for a reason. Checkpoint. A place where people are stopped and checked. Shelter. A safe place to stay. Applause. The sound of people clapping. Publisher. Someone who prints and sells books or stories. Memory. Something you remember. Notebook. A small book to write in. Poem. Writing that expresses feelings, often with rhythm. Season, a time of the year, or a time for something. Discussion question. What would you do if your words could help others but also put you at risk? Why? Think in English. Try writing your answer in a few simple sentences. End of story. Thank you for listening.